All right, so we've got some interesting stuff going on now. We've got my Harrington indicator, and then I guess I could show you what feeds this. Undo the screw up here. I do want to get a proper lock and tamper and all that crap, but right now it's just a screw. In here is my PGM expander, and you can see there's a few resistors off of there, and that's because this Harrington has resistors, but they're jumped by default, and the resistors are 1.2K, so it's basically meant for 24 volts, right? However, this is 12 volts, this is 12 volts, this is 24 volts. So I have a little bit of everything, right? And I got the deuce. I don't know what I'm supposed to call it, but I call it the deuce. And that thing is, what's it called? It's 20, it's running off 24 volts right now, but it can run off either. So, bad view there. The cool thing now is, right now, this is plugged in here. And you can see that light. Now, you can see that light is blinking. And you can hear the clicking. And you can see the sync light is blinking. And so basically, I just have it all tied together. But that's 24 volts. So you might be asking, how about the 12 volts? Well, how about it? Pull it up now. Whoa. That was one of them. That's the other one. There's another one. So those are the three PGMs. And if you look there, they're actually the PGM command outputs. That's 1, 3, and 4. You may be asking, where's 2? Well, 2 is used for resetting the fire alarms. So that's not on here. I could technically mimic 2 on one of them and represent it without actually interfering with the real one, but I don't really think I see the point to do that. It's just for resetting them if there was a fire alarm, so it's not the most crucial thing to show. You would more want to show that there's an alarm, which is what the first 2 do. So the first one is for NAC 1, that would be for a coded alarm. It may or may not be coded, it might be continuous, depending what type of alarm. If it's burglar, it should be continuous, I think. And then the second one is always continuous, and you see it's labeled as strobe. And that's for NAC 2. And that's going to be the default configuration, is for that to be that way. This is going to be more for my system tests down here. So this gives me the option to turn on 1, 2, or both. And so that's what these 3 command outputs are for. Over here is the output of the, basically of the DUSMC here. And as you can see, you can do all the different codes. So I could do code 3. You could do code 4. You can do, you can do whichever. I think this is 4.4. And then I think there's also, was it 4.4.4? So, obviously we've got options. This thing can do so many things. There's pulsed California code. I know I could do, the one I like to use a lot is 120 March. There's also 60 March, which is this one. I'm tempted to get a 180 March because I love me some 180 beats per minute for some reason. But yeah, given I've already replaced the chip on this thing and flashed it a couple times, maybe I'll get a custom firmware for a few bucks donated. But yeah, this thing is really cool, and I love that it's a community project done by some people much younger than myself. Not that I want to feel like an old guy or nothing, but you know, when I was a kid, I was doing this stuff too, so I get it. But yeah, this thing is my new favorite toy, I think. So just the fact it can code it, and then once it can do that, it also, you can obviously code the whatever's attached to it. So for a quick demonstration, let's say we want to code, let's put everything back. We can put this, let's put just the main alarms on. And right now it's doing, let's do 60 beats per minute march. This is gonna be loud, and it's pretty late. Which alarms did I set? NAC 1. Oh, I turned on NAC 2. No wonder. Let's try NAC 1. Nice. So that was basically all the basements going in 60 March. So that's what's the 29, whatever the hell. I always forget the number on this one. And that was also, of course, we got the 2901. And of course, we've got the GMS 24. And the Edwards 439 vibrating bell. And I believe that was all I triggered for that one, because that was the first NAC circuit. It has 4 NAC circuits, but 2 NAC triggers. So it'd be nice if it had 4 triggers so you could do different things. But the 2 to 4 is nice. It's more so you don't overload a circuit, which is kind of nice. But you can see it's still flashing up there, even though the circuit is not on, which is kind of cool. What I do plan to do is add a 3-way switch so that basically I can just bypass the DUS and just essentially run the 24 volts that powers it straight back to the NAC sync. And I think that's almost like a safety measure. This is not intended as a life-saving device, and I want my sync circuit to work under normal circumstances. So for system tests, this thing is super cool and can do every coding you could ever imagine, and then some, especially given it's an active project and you can have custom codes made. So like I said, I might even reach out and maybe donate and get maybe 180 mode. I think 180 would be pretty cool. So that's definitely an idea. And then what else? Definitely more to come. Haven't shown the first 2 light up. I have to actually trigger the real alarm for that. So I'm not exactly in a hurry to do that, at least not in the middle of the night. But eventually I will test it. I absolutely love the fact that I've got this indicator actually being super useful, not to mention almost more than halfway filled. I never thought I would. I mean, I bought this thing, I think it was eBay, like 20 something bucks, 25 bucks. And you know, I'm always looking for stainless stuff because everyone wants the, you know, the infamous 40-50-80 or the 40-40-60. So, you know, anything that remotely looks similar, I'm always like, ooh, what's that? And this thing popped up, and I'm always looking for pyrotronics or pyrolarm. And this thing said pyro something, but it wasn't pyrotronics, it was Harrington. It just happened to kind of show up on a similar search. And I've never seen another one, so I imagine it's probably not super common. But very cool. Intended for 24 volts, but with bypass loops on it by default. So basically intended for it to have resistors upstream. And that's how it was being used already. So whatever panel was using this had resistors for LEDs, which is strange and kind of interesting at the same time. But obviously right now I'm using it mostly 12 volts, so I have resistors for the first 5. For this one, I did some minor, I cut a single little trace in a very minor way. I didn't want to do too much damage to the board. It's on the back side. You can barely see it. It would be easy to repair with a quick solder bubble. And basically just added a quick diode to jump it to an unused part of the board, which actually had a section that looked like it was for basically adding headers. So I added little screw headers and almost like a little screw terminal. And so I added a little separate terminal for 24 volt positive and negative just for that last LED. And I could probably pull that off for maybe the second to last LED too if I needed to. But that means I can actually have 24 volt or 12 volt powering this little guy. That's pretty cool. So I managed to get this thing more than half filled up. I can't even believe that. More than I ever expected to utilize this little Harrington indicator. And I also have the pyro alarm indicator upstairs though, with the big fat circle LED on it. Those are really, really cool looking. I did a little video of those a minute ago, which is a short, I think. But this thing is super cool as well. And it's actually working, which is also cool. Let's just do a final show of it. Let's flip everything back how it should be for the most part. And I will just turn on the strobes. So right now, it's just the strobes on. And that's how that'll look, because these strobes don't use the sync or anything. So even if I turn that on, the strobes they all just do whatever. Now, theoretically, if I had a second deuce, I could run the strobes off it, but the only issue with that is that there's really no universal way to run all the strobes synced together. I think there's a pseudo protocol hack for, I guess it's Wheelock and Simplex can be synced with that hack. I don't quite know the entire details of it, but something to do with like a timing glitch. But it's not quite proper for either. I don't know that it would be considered life-saving device, but kind of cool nonetheless that it's possible. It is definitely of interest to me to see if it would be possible to synchronize, the older strobes that kind of fire when you turn them on, along with some of the ones that have protocols, along with some of the ones that aren't supposed to really sync, but kind of do if you time them a certain way. Like it'd be nice to almost figure out ways to fake them out. I know there is sort of ways for some of them if you do the timing, but that would almost be so specific to each strobe. So I'd be really interesting to play with that concept though. Me always thinking of silly shit. So yeah, this has been really cool. I never thought that I was going to get the Harrington halfway filled. I never thought I was going to, first of all, fix I broke the stupid thing, but not that it's stupid, but I feel stupid for breaking it. But it's all fixed now and it's working wonderfully. And hopefully maybe I'll get some custom firmware or something at some point. And what else? I'm hoping to get some custom panels from the same guy. Really just kind of enjoying these projects. Yeah, like I said, I'm going to add a 3-way switch that'll let me turn this off. And basically when it's off, it'll flip the power to this to, I guess, flip into this or something. I don't know exactly what I'll do, but I'll figure that out. That'll be cool. And until next time, yeah, it's been good.